My wife got in a tragic car accident and somebody lost their life. I took this Xanax on a Sunday night and I came to in Collin County Jail Wednesday afternoon. When I got home from prison, man, I mashed the gas on that little business plan. I'm going to do this and we're going to become the best.
So you read like 144 books?
144. Got an apartment for my wife and I. 3 weeks later, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison. During that 3 weeks, we got pregnant.
You have ADHD, attention deficit hyper disorder, literally has hyper in the name, and you treat it with an upper. Then you have anxiety, and then you treat it with a downer.
The medication, it starts to work well. Like it does, it works. But when you have history, like I do, it's not a good idea. A buddy of mine recognized it. He took my phone, he took my computer. You need to disconnect, get back to what matters, go get some counseling, catch this before it destroys you. Someone that actually cared about me enough to say, stop, you're out of control.
You guys are on pace to replace thousands of windows this year already. Like you do a lot of business.
Yeah, we've been really blessed, man. The clarity comes when you realize you have the decision. I love what Mel Gibson said on Joe Rogan. I'm responsible for my second thought and my first action. Wow.
Today, I'm sitting down with my longtime friend, Lyndol Woodruff, sales leader at Woodruff Windows, solo dad, recovery advocate, host of the Clarity Changes Everything podcast, and soon to be author of Windows to a Better Life, Clarity Changes Everything. Lyndol's story is powerful, from wild Hollywood success, battles with addiction, prison time, and devastating losses, to building a thriving window replacement business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area while raising his daughter, Everly. We dive deep into his moment of total clarity, unplugging from distractions, finding purpose in honest work, and how clarity changes everything in business, recovery, and life. If you're facing adversity, seeking inspiration, or just need proof that no setback is final, this episode is for you. But before we start, we'd be very grateful if you'd like, subscribe, and share our episodes, as we're here to help as many people as possible, and we'll get there much faster with your continued support. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by our partners over at Don't Trade It In. It's the best and fastest way to get top dollar for your car from the comfort of your home. Please visit don'ttradeitin.com today. All right. As Jimmy Fallon says. We were talking about that the other day, how I just naturally did that in the last episode. So,
Or the all right. What's that?
oh,
McConaughey.
McConaughey. All right.
All right. Yeah. Epic. What's up, man?
Lyndol Keith Woodruff.
Yeah.
I say your middle name because, as you know, back in the day when we met at like 14 or 15, I think it was, you went by Keith.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man, lots changed since then for us.
yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah, it's ironic because no surrender. You know, we spoke yesterday about our mission and why we're here and what we're doing, and we've both lately been living the no surrender life. Like, you know, it's
to the max.
Yeah, and it's been, I say lately, but in both of our lives, we've had a lot of ups and downs. Like it's been interesting, very interesting.
What's been cool about it too is the fact that throughout, we've always stayed connected since then. Like there was a lot of lull time of silence and, not talking. But what's cool about, some of the things that you and I experienced as adolescents that like deeply help mold you. Some bonds are forever no matter what, right? Like there was a few things that happened that just we clicked, and then every time we talk, it's like right back where we left off. So it's been cool to stay connected with you through all your trials and the things that you've dealt with and how you've overcome them. You've pulled off some miraculous stuff, man. Your faith and servant heart has served you well, sir.
Well, thank you, and same to you.
Yeah.
And we're going to be getting into that. It was we do these pre-podcast strategy calls, and just what you told me yesterday. I mean, we spoke for an hour straight, and the time went by real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Because it was just like, wow, man, you've just been through so much. Again, even here lately. What we typically do is start off with kind of like starting at childhood and coming to present. But in this case, based on that strategy call, I'm thinking that we'll start more present and kind of work our way back a little bit. And I think it'll all come together. We might end up, back to where we actually met back in the day if we have time. But Yeah, so we'll just kick it off. Like right now, you're at Woodruff Windows.
Woodruff Windows.
Woodruff
Yes.
Windows.
Yep.
Obviously, your last name's Woodruff.
Yes, sir.
And your position there is pretty interesting. You're in the sales department, but you
Mhm.
have four full-time salespeople.
Mhm.
So you're kind of like leading that team. Is that correct? Or
No, not really. We have some great leadership in the office. Really, my goal with Woodruff Windows when I first decided to incorporate my dad's hobby. Window sales was my dad's hobby since 1982. So I grew up around it. 2018 is when I kind of saw like the market demand and the potential. So I decided I wanted to incorporate it, put our last name on it to honor my grandfather, because he was a very well-known commercial contractor, known for principles and integrity, and just had a great relationship. So I wanted to put our last name on it to honor my grandfather. And so, it's grown tremendously, and really my goal was to get Woodruff Windows to a place of running without me and my dad, so we could play more golf together. That was really my goal. I didn't know how that was gonna look, I had no idea how it was gonna play out, but I was so crystal clear that I wanted Woodruff Windows to become the most trusted window replacement company in the whole Metroplex, keeping fair prices and doing honest, good work, just keeping the principles of my grandfather alive. And a lot of events happened since we formed it, and I kind of lucked out. I ended up meeting someone in 2023 that is just he is a I don't even know what the word is. He's a phenom when it comes to process and system and really nailing something down so you can build on top of it. Like you have so many people, especially these days, you grow way too fast, and the infrastructure just falls apart underneath. I mean, the success rate of small business is not very good. So I just happened to meet him at a very trivial, trying time in my life, and basically just signed over the company to him. I was like, look, I just want to raise my daughter and sell windows, man. I just want to help homeowners get their home more comfortable. That's what I love doing. I connected to it as a passion. So now where we're at, yeah, there's a few full-time salespeople. We have a very functional office, a lot of Google reviews. There's nothing less than 5 stars anywhere on the internet. I think we're at 209 Google ones right now. But yeah, I'm a sales rep, and everything else kind of runs. I mean, that's the goal I set out for. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know how it was gonna look. So yeah, I don't own it. I just sell windows, and my buddy owns it, and it's just been wonderful. Been the best decision I ever made, and it's just cool to watch what he's done, and keep the legacy alive, rooted in those core principles. Right?
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, and that's like a lot of people are obsessed with money and toys
Yeah.
and on the other hand, you've got time.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, at least so far, you can't buy more of,
Right.
And so it's great to hear that you're able to play more golf with your dad and focus on raising your daughter.
Yeah, it's that whole thing is very convoluted with the dad and raising the daughter, and I know we're gonna get into the specifics of that, of what happened to actually help facilitate the current scenario, which is very mind-boggling. It's very trying. It's very tough. Like you said, we're both in a very no surrender state. Like when life comes at you, you can't back down. I mean, you gotta rise to the occasion, right? So you mentioned the unique, like all of the full-time sales reps in the office, they take all of the inbound stuff. Really, I've kind of put myself in a position now to where I'm working on my personal brand, because I love storytelling, I love speaking. It's been a crazy journey, and so I'm really focused on my personal brand as a window replacement consultant with Woodruff Windows, and also sharing my story of recovery and starting the podcast and working on a book and doing all these things. So now we've just kind of organized this little situation to where I'm generating my own leads and basically responsible for my own calendar. I'm not getting anything from the office. All the full-time reps get those leads. So yeah, it kind of gives me an opportunity to step back for a second and go, okay, Woodruff is fine without me. I could sleep all day. Which I'm not that type of person, but that doesn't pay the bills anyway. But what's just neat about it and unique is Woodruff is running without me. So now I can take a step back and go, okay, I want to build my own little business inside this business as a trusted window replacement consultant and continue to help homeowners and share my story and just really simplify it and get clear on what matters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Very, very, very different, outside the box.
Yeah.
But you've always been outside the box.
There is no box.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the secret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like there's a lot of depth to that statement, and it'll again as we move through this, a lot of this stuff's going to come full circle. So just out of curiosity, so people have an idea, I think you said that you guys are on pace to replace thousands of windows this year already. Like you do a lot of business.
Yeah, we've been really blessed, man. We get to um the cool thing about these days and technology, um, if you do good work, especially in the home service industry, if the experience for the homeowner is seamless, it's shocking because that doesn't happen. There's always stuff. You hear
Yeah.
all kinds of horror stories of drunk people showed up to do the work at my house. I found beer cans in my bushes. People were smoking. I mean, all kinds of things. You hear all kinds of things. People not showing up on time, not keeping their appointments. So staying rooted in those core principles of customer is very important in everything. Our word is everything. Scheduling is important. Showing up, building an efficient process to be able to deliver a seamless experience that's on kind of repeat. People are so shocked. They're just going online and just ranting about us. There's no negative word anywhere. I mean, there was a little, and things happen in this industry. I'm not saying we're perfect, but what I'm saying is how you deal with those things, how you make issues right, how you correct problems, how you address things head on, just like we were just talking about. And we've done that so well that people just get online and write paragraphs, man. I mean, some of these Google reviews are wild. And we got some cool key partners within the community that are also home service people. And so we do work for their customers, and it just becomes this kind of referral word of mouth machine. I mean, we don't really advertise. That's how we're able to really keep prices more on the lower side and not like what you'll experience if you have one of these big corporate brands come over and try to convince you that your windows are $130,000. That is insane. Nowhere near that, unless you have a $20 million home that has to have wood clad casement windows and you got 90 of them. Well, that's different. But if it's a single family home with 23 windows that just need a good vinyl replacement window installed properly, I mean, it's ridiculous and ludicrous some of the games that is played in this industry, and we just don't play them, and people love it. Like, people are gonna yap about their experience. So, staying true to the culture, man, and staying true to the principles that guide us. And what's neat is all the installers think the same way. Our everyone's W-2. We're a team. We're a family, and they show up clean and sober and happy, and they're not on phones. They did 55 windows in a day and a half the other day.
Wow.
Our 5-man team,
Wow.
55. This big 2-story house in Stonebridge Ranch. I've never seen anything like it. I've been around this my whole life. It's astounding of the people that we have on our team that handle the day to day, and we're just in a good position, man. Thousand. I think we did 3,246 windows last year. 3,246, I believe. I may be off a little bit, but somewhere in that vicinity. And yeah, since I sold the company in May of 2023, it's just been you know, a steady increase, and very blessed.
Awesome.
Very, very blessed, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And so you mentioned a book, you mentioned a podcast. Tell us about those.
So, my whole life through I've been involved in all kinds of things. I was the crazy kid that wanted to explore and experiment, ended up in Hollywood for a lot of years, went out there on a Greyhound bus with $340 and a backpack and a luggage, right? And a dream. I've been an adventurous person since I was 3 years old. I took the mic from the preacher on a Sunday morning and sang to everybody in the church and did 3 bows, and they were like, "What is this kid doing?" And that's just how my whole life has been, a crazy go adventure. So fast forward to, this later part of my life and the events that happened that, ended up me being a single dad right now, or solo dad. I don't want to say single. Um, Raising a kid by myself, a whole bunch of things clicked. And I realized how distractions ran my life. And when I got clear on what matters and just shifted all my focus to that, I suddenly realized clarity changes everything. Just like when you replace someone's windows. When we're replacing their windows, we're fixing their view of life. And it has a psychological effect. If you're uncomfortable in your house, it affects you. So over the years, I've installed windows for friends, and they're like, "Man, I can actually have coffee in my coffee area comfortably during the winter now. I've never been able to do that." And that affects their life. So if they start their day aggravated because 'cause they're uncomfortable, I've had one wife tell me, "Thank you, you saved our marriage,"
Wow.
because my husband's grumpy all the time. He hasn't been able to enjoy his coffee in his little area, and it transformed it overnight, and he called me laughing the next day, hysteric. He's like, "Dude, I'm in my boxers, like, during the winter. I don't even feel anything. This is amazing." That's when it all clicked. Like, the personal development, growth, getting clear, removing distractions, focusing on what matters is very similar to getting good windows. So the book that I wrote or I'm writing, it's pretty far along. I don't know exactly when it's going to come out, but it's my first one. So I'm really putting my heart and soul into it. It's called Windows to a Better Life. Clarity changes everything. The podcast is called Clarity Changes Everything. We record the first episode February 20th. This is 2026. I don't know when this is going to be found or whatever. The February 20th, and then it comes out in April.
Gotcha.
Yes, we're just gonna have conversations of distractions and how to get clear and what matters and hear people's stories of how they overcame their struggles, finding clarity and what that looks like to them. And then every other episode will be kind of home service and be like the Woodruff Windows edition with home service providers in Collin County and giving people a spotlight for the honest work that they do. There's a lot of really great small outfits in Collin County that do really good work, man. So we're real fortunate to team up with those guys, and yeah, I love sharing my story, man. If I can help one person just go, ah, wow, aha, I get it, then that's it for me, you know.
Absolutely.
So why not take it to the next level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And that's a really cool concept. My wife has a podcast for her business or in her industry, and
Hmm.
it's similar. It's called Bridal Club. She has guests come on that are top performers in the industry,
That's
and
cool.
it's been real cool because brides like to watch it, and then also the other vendors are now watching it.
That's cool. That's awesome. What's it called again?
Bridal Club.
Bridal Club. Okay. I have a buddy of mine that's in the wedding dress industry in Collin County. I don't know if he buys them wholesale but something about weddings. Well, I'll tell him about it.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So we already kind of touched on that moment of clarity, but
Yeah.
um, it was interesting when we spoke yesterday about it because you gave me a lot more detail on it.
Yeah.
So, um, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that, like I think you
Sure.
mentioned your phone, you lost your phone, and
Well, I didn't lose it. It was strategically taken from me. Yeah. So I guess really the quickest, still give you some details way to explain it. Throughout my crazy adventures, there's always been trouble with alcohol or prescription drugs. When you're taking on the world and you're doing 9 million things, anxiety is just a normal thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
It's very prevalent these days too. And a lot of that has to do with bombarding of distractions, right? Like
mhm,
that's the biggest culprit. So throughout the years, there's always been struggle with drinking. I'd have, periods of sobriety, in and out of treatment. I traveled the country for a long time, so I would get public intoxications in different cities and end up in jails and, just all being stupid related. And fast forward way a little bit more, uh, shortly after we incorporated Woodruff into a business, COVID happened. And I ended up getting a DWI while on prescription drugs. Um, but it turned out to be fake ones. At the time, I didn't even know there was such thing as pressed fentanyl pills. I had no idea. I hadn't been partying. I was married and, a stepdad to two really awesome kids. And I was focused solely on the window stuff. I was doing really well. My wife was in school to be a therapist. She was going to UNT, and we were living in Stonebridge Ranch, and things were cool. But then uh, her and I had a miscarriage, which was number three. This one was number three,
Wow.
and it was really it was very trying, and we had a very toxic relationship, and we were both still just struggling people and arguing all the time and not seeing eye to eye, and just a very codependent thing. Well, um, after that miscarriage, I basically said we need to take a break. I need to breathe. So her and the kids went to go visit a friend of hers, and I made a phone call um, to someone I used to wait tables with to see if he had any Xanax because I just wanted to relax. And when I got home, um, I took this Xanax on a Sunday night, and I came to in Collin County Jail Wednesday afternoon and don't remember anything. Um, and I was already on probation for the DWI I got when I first moved back from LA in 2014. So I was already on probation for that, and that was my third offense. So I was already on felony probation,
Oof.
and I went driving during that space of time that I don't remember, and I sideswiped somebody. Apparently, I read the police report. And I have a breathalyzer in my car, so they know there's no alcohol involved. I mean, you can't drive if you have a breathalyzer in your car. And he searched the car and found the pills. So when I came to and found my paperwork, it was DWI third or more while on probation for a felony.
Wow. And fentanyl.
Yeah, they turned out to be, well, they just charged you with possession of controlled substance. That one ended up going away. But the main charge, the driving while intoxicated, because people don't realize you can get DWI if you're on Xanax or any of these medications, you can get DWIs for that. Like
Right.
it's still intoxicated. So I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea. I broke down crying. I was scared. I had no clue. My wife just had another miscarriage. Poor thing, now she's in the apart like, she found out and drove back from where they were visiting, and that started a very interesting journey, um, that led up to the current situation, and while I was in county jail, and my attorney was trying to fight to keep me on probation. That's what their main goal was, to keep me out of main prison. But the DA at this point had just had it with me. Like I just couldn't keep it together. There was always slips or doing something stupid. Um, and he fought and fought and fought. I was in Collin County Jail for 5.5 months while he was fighting for it.
Wow.
And they finally determined, okay, he's still going to have to go to prison, but we're going to send him to a 9-month treatment program that's at a prison facility in East Texas. Um, and that was a prison program for people with special needs. So because I was documented with the county of taking psychological medication for like depression and stuff like that, if you have a history of taking any of those, you have to go to the programs for special needs people. So very quickly, I found myself in prison in a dorm of 54 guys. Everybody was special needs. I mean, people in there schizophrenic. Everyone had razors. It was nuts. They were brewing prison hooch everywhere. I mean, it was supposed to be a treatment program, and people were like getting K2 sprayed on letters, and they were getting letter. They were all smoking the letters in the shower and seizing up, smoking K2 and drinking prison hooch, and just all it was crazy.
What is K2?
K2 is that it's like when it first came out, it was like artificial weed or
Okay.
whatever. The head shops had to stop selling it, but
Uh,
it's like some type of, I don't know. They figured out how to make it liquid.
Okay.
And they call it tune or tunchi or whatever. It's like just a synthetic. It's been killing people though. It's
Wow.
horrible,
Wow.
causing massive seizures, all kinds of things. Um, so I found out I was going to that program, went to the program, and the day the day that I was transferred out of Collin County, and my wife was really having a tough time because it was COVID and the kids were at home. She was trying to keep up with Zoom and school and life and me not being there. I mean, just horribly difficult. Um, and her 2 children, uh, well, her ex-husband came and picked up the children because of the scenario. And 3 days later, my wife got in a tragic car accident and, somebody lost their life.
Mm.
And that happened the day before I transferred from Collin County to the prison. So when I was going out of Collin County, my wife was coming in
Wow.
the same day. I left at 4 in the morning. It happened at 8 at night.
Holy cow.
And I didn't even know it happened. Well, obviously, I'm incarcerated, right? All they watch is the ID channel there. News wasn't on. They just watch forensic files and like all these criminals watching murder all day. It's not very comforting. It's a
Right.
very uncomfortable situation. So I didn't even find out it happened until probably about a month later. My dad didn't know how to tell me. Because now both people are incarcerated. My apartment is sitting there, with stuff. So they went and cleared everything out, and I went to this program, found out that that happened. She was in for 3 months in Collin County before her aunt was able to get her out on bond, and well, whenever she got out, I just started calling her once a week just to be supportive. Like, I couldn't even, she was in school to be a therapist. She's never been in trouble a day in her life, just not coping well with horrible scenarios,
Mhm.
you know? Um, a mistake that we've all made. I mean, I honestly don't know anybody that's can say I've never been behind the wheel when I shouldn't have. I'm sure they do exist, but it's so common and prevalent.
Mhm.
So, we just started talking every single week. When I was in, I was like, okay, if I used it as a launching pad. I thought to myself, if I'm going to be here in this horrible environment, I'm going to dig in, I'm going to read, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to work on some simple plans of what to do when I get out. So, based on like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and a couple of other books became like my secondary Bible. Of course, I was still reading the Word and in the Word and the spiritual stuff, but I really wanted to understand like if I have this opportunity to not be distracted by life, I'm gonna take it to the max. I'm gonna see what I can do with this. And so we just started talking every single week. When she was out on bond, she started going to AA. She went to outpatient treatment. There was a bunch of conditions of her being out on bond. But she fell in love with AA. She fell in love with recovery, and she worked the steps, and then she started sponsoring other ladies, and then she started chairing meetings. And if you knew my wife, that is a miracle because she's just been riddled with anxiety her whole life and shy and reserved and all over the place. And so as we kept talking, and I'm like, man, we're both getting healthy at the same time. This has never happened. We've been sick our whole relationship. And we know we're not right for each other, right? We were able to start having real conversations. And this was in the middle of 2021, when this all was all going down. And so we just kept talking, and I was like, "Look, I know we were on the rocks. I know things were horrible, and we don't know what's gonna happen with you. We know when I'm getting out. I think that with these new epiphanies, we should agree that we're not right for each other as sick people, but there may be a possibility we could be right for each other as healthy people. We just don't know because 'cause we've never been mutually healthy, right?"
Right.
So we came to that agreement. Um, I got out October 26th, 2021, and went to a halfway house in Fort Worth, and I was able to get work passes and leave the halfway house and stuff like that. So what was really unique while I was talking to my wife, and I left my dad holding the bag with the window business because when I incorporated it, I mashed the gas on it. We had a lot of customers, we had a lot of projects going on. I handled all of the software stuff, I handled the ordering of all of that. My dad didn't know how to do anything. He was still a full-time barber. The window thing was just his hobby. Like, it was my business, you know? But he would, still bring referrals and stuff like that, and we worked together, and it was a cool little partnership. But when I left, we were like, "Oh my god, what do we do? We got all these customers." So I called my sister. My little sister is one of my very best friends, and she's awesome. And I said, "Sister, I need you to step up. We need to talk every day, and I need to train you on the aspects of this business so you can help dad keep it alive." And man, she did. We went in. I was like, I grabbed a business book and I said, "All right, here's the plan we're talking about. This is how you do this. This is," and I just coached her daily on the window industry. And she took it on, man. She
Nice.
took it on and started selling some windows and kind of keeping everything a little bit afloat. So whenever I got home, there was something there still to work with. I got out Christmas morning. That was my Christmas present. I got out of the halfway house Christmas morning,
Wow.
2021, and got an apartment for my wife and I. And 3 weeks later, we only had 3 weeks together. 3 weeks later, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison. And during that 3 weeks, we got pregnant, and
Wow.
this one stuck.
Wow.
That's how I'm currently a solo dad. Things got, at first, I was like, yeah, there was no excitement about it. We kind of had a history with that, like what's God really doing? Like if this is real, oh my God, this totally changes the game. So they transferred her to a medical prison down in Galveston, and I started visiting twice a month. I would visit on Saturday and Sunday twice a month for 4-hour visits, and I just watched her belly get bigger and bigger. And then the voices got loud. "You suck. You're going to destroy this kid." Like, you can't even imagine some of the darkness that was going on before the baby came. Something happened, man. Something happened when that baby came, and I held her in my arms for the first time. I went and picked her up from the hospital when she was 3 days old. And it's been a really impeccably cool journey. So when I say I met Jordan at the right time, the guy that I signed over Woodruff Windows to, he's got 2 beautiful little girls that are basically my daughter's little cousins. So
Nice.
I like to say our family business is out now a multi-family business,
Awesome.
and, they're growing up together. They're having a great time. My daughter's unbelievable. She's 3 and 4 months now, and just funny and smart and gorgeous, and it's been wild. And I just happened to meet him when she was 9 months old. I got to a place of, is when I got home from prison, man, I mashed the gas on that little business plan. I knew exactly how I was gonna do it. I picked the area I was gonna do it in, the heart of McKinney, and just drill down. And I'm like, "I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna become the best." I mean, I had 17 months to prepare. That's a blessing.
Didn't
You
you say you read like 144 books?
144. Yeah, 144. That's just in the 9-month program alone. I don't remember how many I read in the 5.5 months of county, but from the time I got to the program and realized I was going all in on this, 144.
Wow.
I became like the dorm counselor. It was crazy. I helped an older gentleman learn to read. He was 83 years old. It was a very sobering experience, and there was a few guys that were in there that had a lot of potential, so I sewed into them. I ordered them books. I'd call my parents and say, "Hey, I need another copy of this." Then we would have little workshops, and I created, like, little exercises to help these guys. Like, we were the only ones that stayed sober in that entire tank for the whole entire time,
Wow.
and it's so cool because they still call me to this day, and they say, "Thank you for seeing something in me." I've got awards at work now. I'm top sales guy. I've heard that a couple times, and that's a big deal, man.
Yes.
That's a big deal, and I'm like, "Yeah, I just saw potential in you, man, and I wanted to help. We did it together, and now look where we're all at." That's why I say clarity changes everything. Because when you're just ran by distractions, it will destroy you, and that's our whole culture. Destruction and chaos. That's the culture.
Yes. That's the
So,
media for the most part. That's what
oh man, it
sells.
goes way deep,
Yeah. Yeah.
way deep.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's this theme. We're only on episode 7 or 8 right now. Depends
Mhm.
on how you count them. Because we call my episode where my wife interviewed me episode 0. But there's like this growing theme on these discussions, podcasts, whatever you want to call them,
Mhm.
of giving more than you're taking.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's you touched on the media. You think about like what sells media, drama, violence, things that aren't positive,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So we have these record rates of people being unhappy at work. We have record rates of people being unhappy overall in this country. On
Mhm.
the one hand, on the other hand, we have this insane technology that allows humans, even high producing humans, to be relatively lazy compared to our forefathers. Like,
Yes.
I mean, this tablet, like alone, um, can make someone exponentially more productive. And then you have your smartphone, you have computers, you have all this stuff. So we have all this technology,
Mhm.
we have all these resources. We're basically spoiled rotten in this country, but no one's happy.
No one's happy. So, the way interesting you bring that up because the tradition what okay, during my years of working in LA, I got to work with a lot of really interesting people. And when I was in the music business, working with some very high up people. Um, and I'm so glad I'm out of that industry. That industry is it's garbage. I mean, some of the stuff that I learned about the mind games that are being played through media on purpose,
Oh yeah.
that stuff is very real. And it's been going on for a long time. So what's interesting now, you say we have all this crazy cool technology. We have all this crazy cool technology and it can be totally leveraged for great and good, but I think one of the deep inherent problems is all of the people that are using it have grown up with the mainstream model of media, which is if it bleeds it leads, blah 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 blah. So when they get it in their hands, it's just kind of a natural way to use it for the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause what's in our DNA with it. It's astounding, it really is. We have a choice. No one is holding a gun to your head and making you scroll and absorb garbage all day. If you're gonna scroll some stuff that can help you be productive. Garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
Remember our parents used to say that?
Oh yeah.
That's not a cliche. It's true, it's fact. What you fill your head up with is it's gonna produce, man. It's
Yeah.
like a fertile ground up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So to come full circle, your phone, I was putting it kind of lightly. I said you lost your phone,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah, we even that never got brought up. Yeah.
yeah, so the phone was taken. And
Mhm.
this clarity, if I remember correctly, based on our conversation
Yeah.
the other day or yesterday, you had this extreme like moment. I don't know if it was a moment where like that clarity kind of peaked.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that you share that, or at least some of that, because it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can go as deep as you want to go, obviously, but like if you could describe that clarity when you hit that point of clarity, it's
Mhm.
ironic because it touches on the technology.
They all intersect.
Right, so
Everything that we're talking about really culminates with me and my experience at this exact moment. It didn't happen immediately. It was a gradual process. But there was a time, a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe, I kinda started falling back into my old patterns of being distracted and saying, "Oh, I wanna be involved in this. I wanna be involved in this. I wanna be involved in this." And when I get in that mode, if I'm working on something and I stay with it and I found, like doing my morning practice and doing my reading and doing my breathing and exercising and just the very basic things of self-care, when I'm doing those things, it's so much easier for me to stay on task, feel at peace, not be overwhelmed. But if I start to in the Christianity, they call it backslide. When I start to backslide into the old ways and into the old habits, it gets chaotic really quick. And, I ended up allowing a really good friend of mine. I love her to death. I ended up allowing a friend of mine move in with me. We were going to work on some stuff on the music stuff started to creep back into my life. She's a killer musician, one of my favorites of all time. She's phenomenal. So I opened that door of when I should be focused on my daughter and the window business and these things, I opened my door to other distractions. And it really started to spin out of control extremely fast. So then I found myself back on my anxiety medication, taking it like I'm supposed to, and medication for ADHD to keep the brain at check. And so many people have that cocktail: ADHD medication and anxiety medication. So many people, like the statistics are staggering.
Which, by the way, it's most likely
God,
by design because
of
you have an
course.
upper. So you have, it's so weird. Like to this day, I mean, I for a while was thinking about becoming a doctor when I was in college, and you start digging into the science.
Yeah.
You have ADHD, which attention hyper attention deficit hyper disorder,
Mhm.
uh, which literally has hyper in the name, and you treat it with an upper.
An upper.
Then
Yeah,
then you have anxiety,
yeah.
and then you treat it with a downer, which kind of, we could probably have a whole episode
Oh,
on
yeah, that's
big pharma
yes,
and
and especially the tie into Hollywood.
yeah.
It's we're not even gonna go that direction. It's evil. That's all I'm gonna say. So what we're talking about, the medication, and, it starts to work well. Like, it works, but when you have a history like I do, it's not a good idea. But when I get going and I can't sleep at all. It will not shut up. It's just constant chatter up there. And the more I open up myself to get more involved in different things, it's even worse. And I end up getting to that point where I have to have it to even function or think straight. And it got way out of hand. So, anyway, a buddy of mine recognized it. Thankfully, he saw what was happening and was like, dude, I'm going to intervene and you are not going to go down this road again. It's not going to happen. He took my phone and he took my computer and locked it in the safe at his house and said, you need to disconnect, get back to what matters, go get some counseling, and catch this before it destroys you. I'm so thankful he did that. I'm so thankful that I'm starting to tear up just thinking about it. I'm so thankful someone that actually cared about me enough to say, stop. You are you're out of control. Because in the addict mind, we're fine. You know what I
Right.
mean? And at first I was freaking furious. I was so pissed off. I was livid. He was like, fine, kick holes in the wall. I don't care. I'll have the sheetrock guy fix it. You're going to go get some help for that little girl. You can't do it. I'm not going to allow it. So the phone was gone. The computer was gone. Of course, I needed some type of communication so I could talk to my parents. So he basically guarded everything. He's like, "Look, I'll help you get another phone. We're gonna get a new phone number. I'm only gonna put 5 phone numbers in it. So tell me which ones you want, and you're gonna have to you report to me. Like, I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way. I'll come support you at, intensive outpatient treatment graduation." He really, really stepped up, and uh it at first was very hard because I've been on MySpace or Facebook or whatever, or social media is what I'm trying to say, since 2005. 20 consistent years of information overload, right? So, like, my go-to is if something happens, oh, I got to tell everybody, got to update everybody, blah, 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 blah. Phone ringing 16 hours a day. Man, when all that went away, when I disconnected from everything, I started working for a construction guy from my church for $12 an hour doing handyman stuff. I'd never done manual labor my entire life. So I unplugged from everything and started working with my hands. Thankfully, Everly's daycare supported me through it, and they said, "Hey, we'll still watch her throughout the day so you can do what you got to do. I know you'll figure it out." Everybody, my support system knows my situation. So thankfully some people stepped up and they're like, we're gonna help you get through this. So I started doing handyman stuff for $12 an hour, and I noticed this was the moment of clarity that we were just talking about. Being unplugged from those social media outlets and being unplugged from pointless conversations and just stuff that didn't matter, no distractions. Within 2.5 weeks, it was about 2.5 weeks later, I was standing in the foyer at church talking to my buddy Don, and all of a sudden it hit me. I have been in this conversation for 45 minutes with not one other thought. And I wasn't on medication. I had gotten off the medication whenever I started the getting clear journey. Because one of the things is you can't be on anything at all. Like no medication, no stimulants. It's gonna suck for a little bit, but there is a process of legitimate healing of the mind and proper, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I just cut it all out. And man, when I realized that my head is perfectly clear when I'm unplugged from distractions with no medication, it just dawned on me. Man, this clarity thing, it's amazing. And how many people are in turmoil, constant turmoil, because they can't stop doing this. And they wonder why their head's going a million miles an hour. And we live in this feedback loop of a society of constant bombard of information. That's why we're seeing these spikes in teenage suicide is up like 700 and something percent. So many people are on medications for this and medications for that. So it was a huge epiphany for me. And then it hit me. Everything became clear, what was important. And that's been a year.
Oh, a year.
That's been a year now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And back in full swing. I took 3.5 months off from everything. Just worked hard and played with my daughter. Man, life changing. It just hit me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Like,
And
here we go.
it's the kind of the cherry on top there was you were in church when it,
Yeah. When it all became clear.
and you mentioned Everly.
Everly. Yeah.
Everly.
Everly's my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume that, but the name, that's when
It-
considering it was 3 miscarriages.
Yeah.
And then the circumstances when she was conceived.
Mhm.
I'm sure all that
Oh, yeah.
was
And her middle name is Sage.
Everly
Yeah.
Sage.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Clearing out the bad, clearing out the negative, like you do with sage.
Yeah.
My sister's all into that stuff, sage and stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So there's so many parallels with life in her conception and really understanding. Like I never thought I would have found my purpose in Windows ever. Like if you'd have told me when I was young that you're gonna one day turn your dad's hobby into a business, I would have just laughed. Like he would, he kept bringing it up to me. Hey, you should look into this window thing. It's really good business. I'm like, no, man, I'm Hollywood. What are you talking about? Like no, 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 that whole ego thing, image, and all of that. I would have just laughed in your face. But those moments of being able to really understand what matters and hearing some of these stories from the homeowners, I am like literally in my purpose, and it feels so connected, not forced. You know what I mean? It's just like there. And man, I would love for everyone to be able to experience something like that. And I don't think people realize how huge of a role media and content plays in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's ironically I was watching a podcast earlier today that touched on it was a Joe Rogan episode that had the founder of Oculus, the VR
Yeah,
headset.
yeah. I listened to that the other day. What's his name? He's got the long hair.
Yeah,
Really cool guy.
yeah, I don't remember his name,
He's got a
but
funny name.
yeah, and he had a funny jacket on, and
Yeah.
he's like clearly like a outside the box
Yeah.
artistic type, super sharp guy.
Yeah.
And obviously he's a multi-billionaire because he created like a way to escape reality.
Yeah.
On the other hand, now he's working with defense contractors to build weapons.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but yeah, so he's like this really interesting guy. And they were touching on like the same things we're touching on right now, on how media, like he told this story. Well, I'm sure you'll probably remember. The propaganda is so intense in countries like China and Russia
Mhm.
that when they were pitching the invasion of Ukraine to the Russian soldiers, and not just the infantry guys, the helicopter pilots, like in this one example, the helicopter pilots were given uh 3 days worth of clothes, including their dress, like formal
Mhm. Yep.
uh outfit or whatever you want to call it, uniform, and random items and 50 condoms.
Yes. Yes, I remember
A-
that. Yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the reason they gave them 50 condoms was because they led them to believe that they were going to be heroes instantaneously,
Instantaneous heroes, yeah.
because that's what the Ukrainian people wanted, supposedly.
Yeah.
So you have sharp guys that qualify to become pilots
Mhm.
who are so brainwashed, along with all these other tens of thousands, if not over 100,000 troops.
Yeah.
They're brainwashed to believe that they're going to be heroes in the country that they're invading and that the people want them to come. And that goes hand in hand with this social media stuff
Yeah.
and the suicide rates. And we've got, for a long time it was fight and flight,
Right.
fight or flight.
Right.
Now it's fight,
And
flight,
freeze?
and freeze,
Freeze, yeah.
right?
Where did I hear that the other day? Was that Jordan Peterson that said that on Joe Rogan?
It might have
I've
been.
been going down a Jordan Peterson rabbit hole
Oh yeah,
lately.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
man. That dude there, he can deliver some deep stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm still stuck on that dude's name. Can someone look it up? If there's someone in the studio, can someone figure that out? The guy that started Oculus? Because it's really driving me nuts, and I'd like to have clarity right now.
That and who added the freeze,
And
right?
who added the freeze? I
Fight,
think it was
flight.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, yeah, it might have been. So when considering all these variables,
Yeah.
the last episode we filmed, we had Larry Yatch. He's a former Navy SEAL commander, author, and he focuses on helping people gain clarity.
Oh,
Ironically,
cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, and uh, he he like focuses a lot on uh in the process of helping people find clarity, like
Yeah.
separating the conscious thoughts from the subconscious thoughts. And if like he doesn't consume social media, he doesn't consume regular media like the news,
Smart man.
like he's basically doing a lot of what you did
Mhm.
during that sounded like about 100-day period.
Yeah.
Uh and that's critical because one of the key points from that episode was that he asked me, he was like, if you are the government or a government in charge of a government in a country and you want to make sure you're in control of people, how do you do it?
Right.
And the answer is dependence. You make them dependent on you.
Mhm.
And obviously, we're not going to get too political here, but the more you give out for free, the more dependence there's going to be.
Yep.
And then what do you do with these people you're giving all this stuff to for free?
Right.
You you
Well, that's
you
still the same person that the habits that are instilled in that person, like, that's where it's gotta start.
right,
It's gotta start with looking at the thinking and the trauma behind the thinking, because all of that is what's creating the behaviors and the actions, which leads to results. Like, I love how Joe Rogan puts it. He's like, "Hey, the easiest way to do this is not create so many dumb people. Like, we gotta actually help people become smarter
right,
in thought, smarter in action, smarter in habit, instead of just so and that's what's so great about the onset of these long form podcasts and everything where we're at with technology. Um, Now people that are younger, they have all of this stuff that they can listen to and learn from and apply. They're not just stuck in one, it's either this way of thinking or this way of thinking. You know what I mean? It's like,
right,
no, we can be much more in the middle and pick and choose and like listen to this idea. Okay, that actually might work for me. Let me implement that. And we live in such a cool time to be able to do that. And everyone is more now than ever.
right. Yeah. So
It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. So you've got the fight, flight, freeze. Which do we have a name on that by chance?
Palmer Luckey, that's the Oculus guy. Yeah, Palmer Luckey. But the freeze thing, I think I just heard it yesterday.
Yeah, fight, flight, or
And
freeze
freeze.
is definitely in a book. One of the books you mentioned, hundreds of books. I'm
Yeah.
the
Well,
same.
I know Jordan Peterson said it on Joe Rogan. I don't know if it came from him, though. I'm not sure if it was in a book, because I didn't read it in a book. I heard Jordan Peterson say it. I think it was the first episode he did with Rogan. I've listened to 5 out of the 8 so far.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
I guess it's not that like who created or who like went down that path and added the freeze, I guess isn't that important. But when you consider social media, you are constantly like you're consuming it. You're going from fight to flight to freeze to fight, in random orders because you're as a human, we're designed to struggle
Yeah.
and the survival of the fittest thing is what led you and I and everyone in this building to be where we are. If our ancestors did not fight for the most part, uh, or freeze,
Right?
then we wouldn't be here. None of like the species wouldn't have survived.
Right.
So we're being bombarded with all this stimuli that is causing us while we're sitting there by ourselves to fight, flight, or freeze constantly, right? And then have you heard of the Flynn effect?
Nuh-uh.
So the Flynn effect was named, I'm assuming, after Mr. Flynn or Mrs. Flynn, who created this after studying a bunch of data.
Mhm.
The Flynn effect states that as a species, our average IQ consistently rose for a long time.
Mhm.
And what would you guess one of the effects of this social media and all this other technology is having on our IQ?
It's probably cut it in half.
It's now they've got the D Flynn effect.
Mhm.
So as a species, since we're not using it, we're
Mhm.
losing it.
Right.
And
Right.
we are on average getting less intelligent.
Yeah.
So it's, I hate to say it, but just a matter of time. We're
Yeah.
creating something to replace us with AI.
Yeah.
I know like there's only a 30% chance they're saying that AI is going to basically label us as a parasite and get rid of us. But
There's so many different, conversations around that whole thing that I've really enjoyed kinda listening to and seeing people's different perspectives on that. But yeah, it's a interesting animal.
well, yeah, so we've got
Yeah.
our intelligence going down on average. We've
Mhm.
got AI's intelligence not going like this. It's like basically vertical,
Mhm.
right? So the quadrillion-dollar question here is, are we going to win the race? More specifically, as a species, are what like the Elon the other day, or in a podcast I watched the other day, projected that within the next, I think, 4 years or so,
Mhm.
the robotics and AI will have advanced so much that we will have universal high income.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And okay, so then you look at like people like Tony Robbins who are saying, well, if that happens, what will we do as a species?
Mhm.
And he's saying that we will go from creating an identity based on what we do as a job to creating an identity based on fulfilling our purpose.
Right.
So if we are where we are right now, and most people are 70% of Americans are actively disengaged at work
Mhm.
because they're
Oh, it's 70%?
yeah,
Oh.
something right around that 67 to 75, something in there.
Uh-huh.
Why are they actively disengaged? In most cases, because they're messing around on social media or texting or whatever. So
Arguing with people in comments.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So
why?
so like
It's bananas.
yeah. So that's the like one of the biggest questions that we face, and if we don't treat it with a higher level of urgency,
Mhm.
there's going to be massive, massive problems because there's going to be this period where people lose their identities because they base what they do, their
Right.
identity on
Same thing when I lost everything in LA. I was destroyed.
destroyed. Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's ironic,
Yeah.
that
And I think there's been some cool conversations around that as far as how if that does end up being the case, that this kind of digital system takes over and starts kinda leading the charge, then I think since we're evolving with it, that I've heard it put that it could be a thing of we just figure out how to blend with it and continue to work with it and create the next era like the Industrial Revolution did, right? Like all the farmers and everyone started to freak out. Oh no, machines are getting created. We're all going to lose our jobs. But then they figured out how to work with the machines to get even more effective and efficient. And I think we're looking at that same type of trend, right? Like this is all new. We're all figuring it out. And I think he who can work with it the best is going to create the most innovation. And then people will just follow suit. They'll learn just like any hierarchy or corporate structure. You got the board, then you got the CEO, and then you have the VPs and the biz dev and the all that down to the people that answer the phones. Everyone plays their part in this ecosystem. So I see that being a good potential and not really like, some people say, well, I'm frightened of it. Well, like, I don't, to me, that's too much future tripping. Like, I'm just like, hey, you know what? I am where I am. This is, maybe this is ignorant, but this is my simplistic approach because I'll lose my mind if I try to go down the rabbit hole. And we all know what happens when that happens. So I have made a very conscious choice. I'm keeping it simple right now. I'm going to keep becoming the most effective version of myself that I can for my daughter and show up in the community and help homeowners and just be nice and kind of go with it, see which way, because there's always going to be a larger thing that kind of creates the thing that people blend into.
So you have it. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
You've got like you're 44, 45?
I'll be 45 in June.
45.
Yeah.
You've been through hell and back.
Yeah.
Like probably at least 20 times. I mean, a lot, right?
A ton. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of mini podcast episodes about all the events that took place, like little pocket scenarios all over the country. And oh yeah, it's been crazy. Like, I don't even know how I'm alive times 1,000. And there's so many people are like, dude, why are you not writing a book yet? Like, this is insane. You
Right.
could do a Netflix series about some of my crazy adventures, and it's been wild, bro. So yeah, go ahead. What was your
Yeah,
thought on
yeah.
that?
So you're 45, I'm 44.
Yeah,
We're still in the fight. Like,
yeah,
you know, you're it you look at my businesses, you look at the production we put out, our reviews are similar, in the car industry, it's almost impossible to keep that perfect 5.0, but
oh
we're
yeah, yeah,
4.7 to,
yeah.
4.9 usually.
Nice.
Uh, I think if you combine all my businesses, 1,000 reviews, blah, 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 this and that.
Yeah.
But the fight is still very, very serious, very real. We've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. That moment of clarity that you achieved, I recently achieved. I had a similar situation occur where, and I've touched on it in recent episodes, where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to continue to live a life where I am dealing with variable A, B, C, D, and E that are, number one, not as much in my control as I like to believe, since I'm the owner of these businesses. And number two, that's not positive, right? So no surrender is here because we have this mission to help as many people as possible. So to kind of come full circle on the quadrillion-dollar question.
Yeah.
Based on everything you've been through, all these lessons you've had to learn the hard way in most cases, and the people you've helped, how do we, for people that are watching this or listening to this, who might be in a similar position, who might like literally be trying to figure out where the binge started?
Because the relapse happens way before you actually take a drink or take a pill or whatever. And it's basically in behaviors and thoughts and habits that drive you is kind of where it stems. So
Right.
what's the remainder of the question?
So the question is, how do we help people they've fallen off the wagon
Mm-hmm.
in their mind,
Right.
but they haven't started using yet, or they haven't started cheating, or they haven't started going back to the casino?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we help people at that point? Like, like you had that, what'd you say his name was, your friend that helped you, that it was like,
I didn't.
okay, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Like,
No.
if they don't have that person and they're at this point where they might be about to, I already dropped one F-bomb, I might as well drop another one. They're about to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Like, what can we say? Like,
well, I will say it was Jordan.
Jordan.
the guy who
Yeah.
saved Woodruff.
So saved Woodruff, saved.
He stepped up in a major way, something that I've never heard before. Like there's been countless times of close to ruin, and the way that he approached it, just super tough love, man. Like he was so firm. I'm not gonna watch another friend die from this ridiculous crap. So this is what we're gonna do. And man, so thankful. Like it really has strengthened like our relationship and bond and kind of understanding. So yeah, I just it was him. Yeah.
So then maybe that's another thing we can say then is that if you are maybe not the person that's actually slipping and you're listening to this and you know someone who is,
Hmm.
then we challenge you, I'll look into the camera, we'll challenge you to step up and help people, even if you've like, I know it's hard, like if, I
It's
mean,
real hard.
especially if it's been a pattern, there's been a
Yes.
pattern,
Yeah.
uh, but that's what,
Because once again, those patterns are the identity. This goes back to the identity problem. Like we're so wrapped up, like, identity and stuff is created. This starts very young. I mean, statistically, by the time you're 8, you already pretty much have 95% of your belief system about yourself and about the world and about other people that's already hardwired in your subconscious and running the show. Like it's freaking ingrained and it takes a lot of intentional work. That's why when you start the process of recovery, they tell you don't make any significant life decisions for at least the first year. Like dig in, clear out the garbage. I love how Jordan Peterson was talking about like so many people are wanting to fix everybody, like clean house. Sort your own self out before you try to sort out the world. That's the big problem. Everyone's like, well, that's going on and that's going on. And that not like, hey, let's take a really hard look about what's going on inside. And it takes some diligent process. So anyone that is struggling, um, the number one recommendation as someone that's been on all sides of the freaking spectrum, right? I would say one of the most beneficial things that you can do is deactivate your Facebook. For starters, get off of social media, go to a local, a great place to start. If it's not your thing, whatever, a 12-step group of any type of structure is fantastic starting point to start to understand things about yourself. Those two are critical. And then whatever you figure out to do from there. But I would just say that the most important thing is unplug the distractions. Now, of course, you still have to go to work and you have to do some things, but all of the crap that's unnecessary, turn it off. That's funny. I'm trying to build a digital social media brand and I'm telling people to turn it off. Like I'm that convinced that it's killing people.
yeah,
Like, come on, man. Have some self-respect. Turn it off. Take care of yourself. And just start there. Like, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It is not fun for a little while. It sucks. And you just pay attention to how much your brain fires for that incessant need to pick up that device. But it's powerful.
absolutely. Yeah, unplug. And I mean, if there's substances involved, obviously that's it's tough, you know.
Yeah, it really is. Especially when they're combined.
Yeah, yeah, because they've done, of course, research that's proven that social media is as addictive or more addictive than most
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah. And
You've
and
got
here's the
these,
reality. Withdrawals from alcohol or withdrawals from benzodiazepine, Xanax, or Klonopin or anything like that, those withdrawals, you can die from that. You will not die getting off social media. So start there.
yeah,
Like if you still have to take a pill to get to the next step, or I'm not telling anyone how to do their journey, but I'm just saying the power in cutting out what doesn't matter, it's life changing, man. And that I would love for everyone to experience it as some type of taste of what clarity actually is, because we do not live in a clear society. It's clearly chaotic.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's again more irony, right? So you're building this podcast. I'm building a podcast, or
Yeah.
we're multiple episodes in. We're both here trying to help people, and we're still battling ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's my wife and I have been talking lately about how like building like if you're trying to help people, then you need the traction because most people are you get their attention on social media, or many people,
Right.
right?
Right.
So like there's this magic again, quadrillion dollar question, whatever you want to call it, of bridging that gap between where we are now and where we're gonna be if this like anything that is remotely close to universal high income
Mhm.
manifests, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because you lose your identity in your work, you are lost in social media, and then you don't necessarily have to work. And if we don't change as a society relatively quickly, there's going to be chaos in between where we are now and where we end up. You know,
Gonna be chaos,
that's what a lot of people.
brother. It's everywhere.
Well, oh yeah, I
And
mean
it's gonna
it's
continue. You're right. You're totally right, man. No telling. And I think, it may have been the same episode you were talking about, with Joe and Elon when, um, we were talking about how by nature, we're creatives. By nature, humans are creative. We are created to create. We are creators, right? So, with the universal high income type thing, I if there's so many people that if they could make a living just being artistic, I think a lot of people would go that route. And just like if you could just live and take care of stuff and you could paint or you could garden or you could play your guitar all day or you know what I mean? Like we are creative in our nature. So there's still going to be the people it's still going to be chaos. No matter what, like uh who knows? Who knows? I'm just trying to stay as sane as I can right now and stay focused on what matters and just kind of I guess dance with life. I like to dance with life. I don't like to fight with life.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like to wrestle with it. Yeah, I've done that. It's
yeah,
tiring.
yeah, yeah.
Life's a
Surrender.
dance.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that a
Yeah.
country song?
Life's a
Life's
day.
a dance, you learn as you go. No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't remember the name of the singer, but
I can't remember. Sometimes you lead,
yeah,
sometimes you follow. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, it's a very interesting time that we're in, man. And I don't really know what else to say about that.
yeah. No, it's a
It's
really
mind-boggling.
yeah, yeah. It is, and that's I ask a similar question in almost every episode
Mhm,
because it's one of the toughest questions. Like if someone had a definitive answer to that question,
mhm.
they would be very, very, very wealthy. I mean,
Yeah,
because it is a much, much bigger problem than the media will tell you
yeah,
because the media is part of the problem.
yeah,
It's a much bigger problem than social media will tell you because they're part of the problem.
yeah,
You've got we touched on big pharma. You've got big food. Of course, good things are happening there with the current administration on the food side of things. We're not poisoning ourselves as much
right.
in order to make more money for big pharma, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
But yeah, man, I always like to ask the question because if we don't work together
yeah,
as a we've got the positive and the negative, and we're trying to be as positive as possible
yeah,
while fighting the negative.
yeah.
So we just gotta work together to get it out there.
And here's the crazy thing about that. You know what also kind of blows my mind? We were talking about, like, people using social media in the same model that they intrinsically were grown up with, right? Like, using it the same way. It's the same thing with food or the fast food bum rush or whatever. Everywhere you go, there are healthy options. Quick Trip has sliced apples. You're hanging out at the hot dogs. Once again, we have a severe self-discipline problem.
Right.
Severe. We're so ran by culture, this narrative that's literally woven into the fabric of our DNA. People think it's life. No, 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 you're being pulled. And the reality is every single one of us could stop and say, "You know what? I think I'm gonna eat an apple today." There's almonds at Quick Trip, and there's cheese-filled chicken strips.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and
It's
it's
everywhere.
yeah, discipline equals freedom. Jocko Willink, another
Yeah, he's awesome.
Navy SEAL guy. That's one of his, I think, sayings, and that that is where it takes work.
Yeah.
Like so. It's
I do wanna
it's
end on this, though. I know we're about to wrap up, but I do wanna make this perfectly clear. I by no means have this figured out. Like, it's a struggle. I still go through drive-throughs. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to position myself as a saint, but the clarity comes when you realize you have the decision. And then I love what Mel Gibson said on Joe Rogan. He said, "I am responsible for my second thought and my first action." Because thoughts just come. There's all kinds of crazy crap that pops in my head all day, but am I acting on it? I love when he put it like that. I'm responsible for my second thought and my first action. Wow.
that
How
is
huge is that?
yeah,
It's
it
like
is
not acting on impulse. Don't just take action on how you feel and react, right? Like take a moment. That's where the clarity is. It's in that Stephen Covey said in that small space between stimulus and
response.
response. There's a space, and you have a space to choose which direction you go. That's true responsibility, the ability to respond and not being reactionary.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems. That's the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we started this podcast series off with Mark Devine, who is like a grand master, another SEAL, grand master in fixing like from your mind to your physical body.
Yeah.
And he like I highly recommend that viewers or listeners go back and listen to that episode. It's so dense. Like he preaches so much good stuff that I think that it hasn't been our most popular episode because it's like PhD level.
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
will fix you,
Yeah.
but he is a former SEAL and he's like pretty hardcore about it. But like there's so much there that people should take the time to listen to
You said
or
Mark
watch.
Divine?
Mark Divine.
Okay. What episode number was that for you?
That was episode number 1.
Oh, episode number 1. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and but one of the key point from that, even if you don't watch it or the listeners don't go back and listen to it, watch it, is that until you develop discipline, there is no like ability like Covey, Frankel, Viktor Frankl, that stimulus response or space in between that
Right.
opportunity
Right.
until you work on your responsiveness to stressors.
Mhm.
You eliminate that gap.
Eliminate. It's covered.
Yeah, and so you just without training, without discipline, without practice,
Mhm.
you just go from stimulus to response and boom, there's an explosion. And here we are with drama. And how long are we going to be going down this negative path? And how much destruction is going to occur because we don't have the control?
Yep, absolutely. And it's been spiraling out of control with people literally following a narrative that's being shown to them. The culture is largely a product of following trends that were shown through media. One of my very, very high level music executive was one of my mentors. And he was very clear. He's like, hey, it's called television because it tells a vision. And they're leveraging it and they're doing things and pulling strings on purpose. It's programming. It's called television and programs because it's programming. And it's been going on for so long. Like 3 generations of kids maybe are 100% that. Like, remember when we were like, when I was born in 81. I'm 2 months older than MTV. MTV came out in August of 81. I was born in June of 81. MTV changed the game. It destroyed a culture of adolescence. That was the first big spike you saw in suicide, teen suicide, because all of a sudden this lifestyle, that was not only being listened to, it was being shown, and it put all this stuff on a pedestal, and people kept following it, and all of a sudden you have waves of people following what they're shown. It's not the other way around. They're not capturing, look at all these moments of insanity. No, no, no. We're going to capture some insanity and create a whole bunch of moments.
Right.
Crazy what's happened with it.
Yeah.
There is a book I want to work on called Media and the Mind because it's so captivating and it's so powerful. When you can intrinsically understand the power of it and make some better decisions just in that realm, it will change your life.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my wife and I have very, very little time to consume much of anything outside of work.
Awesome.
And yeah, but one tip I'll give for anyone who's listening or watching is I exercise 7 days a week.
Oh my gosh.
And
I want some of that.
I at least do my cardio 7 days a week.
Mhm.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of his famous recommendations is to spend at least, I think, 30 minutes to an hour learning every day. And so I kill two birds with one stone in my morning cardio.
Mhm.
I do it on elliptical because my knees are not right from football. But uh, while I'm on the elliptical machine, I'm listening to a book
Awesome.
on Audible or a podcast.
Mhm.
That's not just people talking about random BS. Like
Right.
learn,
Intentional. You're doing an intentional content consumption.
right?
That's a completely different story. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get some of that exercise discipline. How long do you go for in the morning?
33 minutes.
30. I love it.
The
That's intentional too.
well, it is, and
Yeah.
it's real quickly. They found that at least 30 minutes of cardio on a daily, or you don't even have to do it daily. I think it's 4 days a week.
Mhm.
They found that to be as effective as any antidepressant that's ever been tested or approved.
Oh, I love it.
So I go an extra 10%. That's the extra three
Oh, I
minutes.
love it.
But then I guess
That's cool.
one more thing to mention while it's coming to mind is that I keep Tony Robbins is on my mind today. Apparently, he did a study where when people like every year he does for over 1 million people, he gives a free class
Mhm.
on a lot of the things he teaches,
Yes.
and it started during COVID to help people. They did a study where they tracked the progress of depressed people who went through one of his programs
Mhm.
to the performance of antidepressants and psilocybin, right? Another thing that's interesting, magic mushroom psilocybin
Dude, I'm all
has been
about it.
has been
Yeah.
they've proven that that is more effective. Psilocybin treatment
It's
for
a natural antidepressant.
yeah,
Psilocybin is, yeah.
yeah,
They're doing it in capsules, right?
uh,
In
yeah, c-
Colorado?
yeah, capsules and I think they've got liquid. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's the real deal, man.
yeah, it's something like 60% more effective than
So
antidepressants.
crazy.
So start with the exercise.
Okay.
If I know you probably don't necessarily need it, but like just in general, it sounds like if you start with exercise, avoid the big pharma meds, and if the exercise doesn't work, you could go down the psilocybin path if you can find a place to do that,
Yeah.
without
Well, and
breaking
they're
the law,
also doing the, ketamine therapy too, the
right?
ketamine drips at the clinics. I've heard that stuff is life-changing.
Yeah, same thing. It goes into your, I think they call it the default mode network, and basically resets it in
Mhm.
your brain.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, it's I can't go too far down that path about specific experiences I've had because it's like still that's something that RFK is working on. RFK Jr. is working on right
Mhm.
now with psilocybin and other psychedelics, uh, because literally one experience. You can go down to Mexico. There's other, in other countries there are places where you can go where it's legal
Mhm.
to get treatment.
Mhm.
And one treatment um, Sean Ryan, the Navy SEAL who has a real
Mm.
one of the top
Yeah.
podcasts, he went down for a treatment as an alcoholic, basically, or
Mm.
very close to being an
Mhm.
alcoholic. He drank a lot, couldn't kick the habit. He tried all these different things. One treatment, and
Done.
he's never craved alcohol again.
It's amazing. It's amazing what nature can do when we cooperate with it. So I know there's a lot going on in that movement, but the exercise, I will tell you, that's my next thing that I was just talking to, we got Gabrielle's in the house. Gabrielle's going to be working with me on this podcast, digital strategy and whole kind of branding thing that we're doing. And she's awesome. I met her through networking, but she's here. And I think that's one of the things we were talking about 2 days ago. She's like all about the gym. And I'm like, okay, I got to get that. That's the next thing that needs to take over, and I know it's so beneficial, man. So thank you for sharing that about the cardio. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's where I'll start.
yeah. You're welcome. And then I guess unless anything else pops up, which it often does here when we're wrapping up episodes, because we're just here to help. The Tony Robbins thing. So that data, like when he did his research, so he started as a baseline with the antidepressants, then studied the psilocybin, similar psychedelics.
Mhm.
Then he had people go through depressed people again. We're talking about depressed people, clinically depressed people went through his one of his programs, which is clarity. They
Yeah, yeah.
focus on
Uh-huh.
on getting your mind right
Mhm.
through natural means and natural processes and habits that you form that are healthy 90% more effective than
Wow.
antidepressants,
I love it.
right? Yeah, so, I mean, there's stuff out there.
There is
Uh,
there is a ton, and the bottom line, I shared this with you yesterday. I've done some speaking things, and one kind of phrase I've always liked to use is what's real is ridiculed, and what's popular is poison. Think about that. All the stuff that's been fed to us through mainstream whatever is horribly toxic. The healing and the recovery lies in the what they brand to be the underground and sub blah 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 blah. You're being lied to. Like anything mainstream is just not designed for your personal well-being
yeah,
and
yeah,
personal success.
yeah,
So,
the vast majority of it.
yeah,
You have
vast
to
majority.
you have
Yeah.
to, like, go to alternate I mean, as you touched on, we've got the podcasts that are popping up and,
Yeah.
it's great that there's platforms like Spotify and, YouTube where you can post these awesome conversations,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. We've never seen anything like it in the history of time. Like the opportunity that's here for personal effectiveness and growth and peace and serenity and sanity and all these things that are not a byproduct of following the culture. Those are not byproducts of it. It never has been. But now we live in such a cool time to where literally anything's available. You choose. You don't have to be handcuffed.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah.
drink and drive because you'll get handcuffed then too.
Yeah, and I guess we can close it with this final recommendation. If you do the cardio thing and you
Mhm.
you start listening, I use the Audible app to listen, and I've recommended in at least one, other episode. It was my first homework assignment from Mark Divine. I hired him to be my coach years ago
Mhm.
after reading several of his books. He assigned the book Power versus Force to me. Have you heard of it or read it by chance?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It
No.
will change your life.
Power
Like,
versus force?
Power versus Force.
Okay.
It's written by this PhD, MD, uh, guy he helped tens of thousands of people as a clinical psychiatrist,
Mhm.
and he helped people well beyond the clinical psychiatry spectrum.
Mhm.
Um, and it's really interesting. It's very dense in the beginning, so you gotta push through that because he sets the foundation by proving what he's about to teach you is very relevant.
Mhm.
And he goes down this path where they basically he and a bunch of other scientists figured out a way to determine absolute truth about a lot of different things. And then, like, so if you consider knowing the truth about an action or a person, the example he gives is that if you bring in an envelope that's not transparent or translucent, in an envelope you have a picture of Hitler. You bring that envelope into a room,
Mhm.
and they have this through kinesiology. It's a muscle testing process where you hold your arm out. You have someone hold their arm out, and then another person is pushing down on their arm. The presence of that evil person in the picture in the envelope that you can't see through will make their arm go weak.
What?
Yes, it's wild. And so with that muscle testing technique, they've been able to gauge all these different characteristics,
Mhm.
human characteristics, humanity as a whole, where Christ would score on the spectrum. It's like 0 to 1,000.
Mhm.
And
Interesting.
yeah,
Power versus force.
power versus force. Yeah, we've touched on it multiple episodes, and
I'll have to
uh,
check it out.
yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's so wild that I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this or listening to this are probably like, "Yeah, that's probably BS." But
Yeah.
if you read it or
And I
listen to
haven't read anything in a while. I mean, when I went on that tear, like, just reading a bunch of stuff for the sake of reading, I'm, like, more of an intentional behind it now, now that I got all the stuff like, you get the information, like, "Okay, let's make a plan." Like, the books are great, but you have to take action
Yep.
on some elements to it. So, read some things, figure some stuff out, look at some different things, create a plan, and go hard on that plan.
Exactly.
That's how you create results.
Exactly.
It's not about the books, it's about the information in the book that you take and apply.
Right.
The people say knowledge is power. No, it's not.
Excellent.
Application of knowledge is power. You
Yes.
have to application of correct knowledge is even better. Another way to put it. Like just knowledge is not. No, you can know all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
You can still be an idiot,
Exactly.
right? You
Book
can be a
smart.
knowledgeable idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Book smart does not
Yeah.
necessarily equate to.
You know that you like Jim Rohn?
Yeah.
Okay, Jim Rohn has that one quote. You have to start with education. Life change, and this is my last thing I'd like to say. Life change starts with education, not motivation. You can't just motivate somebody. You have to educate them first. Because if you motivate an idiot, then you have a motivated idiot. I've always loved that quote.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't start with motivation, it starts with education. Learn some stuff, apply it, take action,
Absolutely.
create some results, man. That's what it's
Yeah.
about.
And it all ties together there. We'll end it there with I think Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' like
Yep.
mentor.
He was his mentor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, Christian, was really good friends with Jim's stepson. My buddy Christian got to be mentored directly with him before he passed and left us in 2009. Jim, of
Wow.
course, passed in 2009.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he got to actually sit at the conference table with Jim. Some of the notes he went over with me were directly from his journals, from Jim's
Awesome.
journals. How cool is that? That dude's the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
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 Go listen to Jim Rohn. Go down if you want to go down a rabbit hole, go down a Jim Rohn rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
This has been fun, man.
More than fun. It's been a pleasure. And as I've been saying to multiple guests, there's a high likelihood that we'll do another volume at some point in the future. I'd
Mhm.
like to you touched on me coming on to your podcast. I'm looking
Yep,
forward to that.
yep.
And it'll be cool to have another episode where we can talk about things we've learned and how we've grown since this episode.
Yeah, and get a little specific on some of the scenarios, because man, some of the little chapters of your life, some of the chapters of my life, like the circumstances surrounding it and how we ended up getting out of it. Because like, you highlight the storm, right? But it's like, man, all the chaos that happened during it, and then, like, a miraculous thing that got you out of it. I mean, man, there's some really cool stories to share.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I guess before we sign off, I mean, I wanna the number one thing, right, is windows. Like, I help people change their life every day with good windows. That's
Yeah.
the main thing. So if you're seeing this and you're hearing this, you're in the DFW Metroplex and you have older windows, like 20 years and older, that's what we do. We want to replace all your windows, help you get more comfortable. It's woodruffwindows.com, but I have a specific call to action to me. So if you see this and you do want to set up a consultation, all you got to do is text CCE. That's it. Clarity changes everything. Text the letters CCE to 214-225-1922, and they will contact you in the office and get you on my calendar so I can come meet with you. And so yeah, I'd love to help as many people get good windows as possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I always end it. Any other ways to contact you if they need to
Well,
or
so lyndolwoodruff.com is in development. It's being built out right now, but I'm on just the basic stuff. Facebook, Lyndol Keith Woodruff, Lyndol, Lyndol Keith Woodruff. I'm at Lyndol Keith on Instagram. They kind of all tie together. Facebook is really the only one that I kind of pay attention to because family and friends all over the country and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really easy to find, man. I mean, if you Google Lyndol Keith Woodruff, you're gonna see mug shots and you're gonna see boardroom shots. You know what I mean? Like it's a very it's out there.
Yeah,
It's out there. No hiding, man. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
it's been a journey. I want to help people learn. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother. Look forward to
Yes,
having you.
yes, sir.
All
I'm
right.
looking forward to it.
Bye everybody.